everyone. My name is Joseph, and I'm a grateful recovering addict. I'd like to thank you all for being here. For those that are here not with us today but are out of this country and shared, I wanted to tell you I appreciate your share. And wow, what a beautiful experience. Here we are. We have so many differences, but at the core, we have one similarity, and we all are recovering from the disease of addiction. I'm so grateful to see you all here. So I don't know why they particularly picked me to be a speaker, but I was certainly touched by it.
My family had addiction as well, and they didn't have a program, and they died in an active addiction.
So my name is Joseph, and I'm an addict of everything. I've been clean since March the 3rd, 2011. That's 13 years clean. The program works. So I went to a meeting in 2011, but it was so hard. For many years it was hard because I went to meetings and I had no interpreter. So, most people, 90 meetings in 90 days. Not for me. It was 300 meetings in 6 months. Even though I didn't understand the message, I chose to stay at the meeting, ask for people's phone numbers. And most people, they were awkward and they didn't know what to say, but reluctantly they gave me their numbers so we could text. I wasn't able to work the steps at that time until I was finally able to find a sponsor. It took 6 years to find one. Now I'm working on the steps. And it's not easy because my method of communication is American Sign Language, ASL. And in sign language is very, very different than written English. Written English is hard for me to comprehend. Like whenever I'm going through and trying to compare the literature and watching it in sign, it's been a struggle. But when I finally found the strength to work on myself, even though I was alone, I continued to try. And of course, I continued to fail. So I decided to go to treatment one time. And they had so many rules, they were rushing me through it all. Did I get through it? I relapsed after 1 year. So on Thursdays, I started going to a meeting because I had that 1 hour break from the chaos and I was able to go to a meeting. I kept my anonymity, I kept my mouth shut while others shared. And then I had heard about a deaf meeting. A moment of silence. And I thought, okay, I was excited. I went there and I met some amazing people. And one person had asked me how long I had been clean. And I said, well, I've been clean for a year. And they gave me a chip, a 1-year token. So what happened after that? I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. My mind was just going crazy because I had to be honest. So I went back to that meeting again. I handed in that chip, and I said, I have to be honest. I don't have a year clean. And they said, that's okay. If you have a desire to stop using, which I did because I couldn't see my kids. I lost my kids because of drugs. I had 3 kids at that time, all boys. So I went to the meeting, and on March 2nd, that was my last day of using in 2011. When my kids were taken away from me by the state, I decided to stop using. And it broke my heart. I became homeless for 6 years. And I didn't care because I had lost all hope. I didn't know how to change on my own. But the steps have truly helped me keep coming back. And it's definitely a positive thing to be here in the program and to follow it. Because I see others that were happy, but at that time I didn't understand why I wasn't. At 16 days clean, I went to my first NA convention. And it was a little overwhelming. One night they had a raffle, and I thought, okay, I don't have any money, but someone touched me on the shoulder. And they said, here you go. My God said to hand this to you. And at that moment, I lost it. I became so emotional because that's where I found God. So I started working the program. I kept going to meetings. I got involved. There's so much for us to become involved in. And after a year and a half clean, I followed. Even though that the government, they had taken away my kids, and I couldn't take care of my kids. So I agreed and reluctantly signed to give away rights to my children. And when that was all over, I thought God was done with me. But I was wrong, because I'm here today sharing my message with you, a message of hope. A message of hope. And it's been amazing. That first year was really tough for me, for sure. But I still kept going. No matter where I was, I'd find meetings. I was eager to meet people. And I had that desire. I wanted it. I wanted one more day, just for today. Why? Because I began to understand that I don't have any fear. As long as I follow the new way of life, I have a home group and I get involved. And I met a few deaf people, but I tried to be of service for about 4 years. And people had said, oh, I can't. I didn't have an interpreter. Other people had gone to meetings complaining they didn't have an interpreter. And of course I have that empathy, that understanding. We have to help each other. It's hard to find a sponsor who knows sign language. Going back to the written English, that's not my first language. So I haven't found a sponsor, or had not found a sponsor that signs. So I wrote down my needs on paper and I expressed my needs that way. I had to remain patient and find a way. Thankfully, it was successful, and I found a way because I had a desire. I understand that this is tough, but please know we are never alone. Just keep coming back. Thank you. My old sponsee died because of this disease, because he couldn't find help. He had 18 months clean and then died. The family tried to thank me for helping him, and I had to explain that he helped me. Man, that was a tough situation. And when I really started to get connected with my family, things got better through the steps. No, of course it wasn't easy. And eventually, I was living life. I didn't have my kids, and I just kept going through the motions. I was traveling, I was getting involved, but the same situation. I didn't have access to an interpreter. I would try to read the caption app and practice patience, but I still didn't have an understanding. And I'd sit in a meeting just like this, again and again and again. An hour at a time, I'd show up and sit in silence. And that's how I decided to stay. And now, my oldest son is 18, and I had given my telephone number, and I didn't expect that they would text me, but eventually I got a text from my son. The first word, my son said, "I'm proud of you," and the emotions flowed. I never ever thought I would be with my son again, but he's here tonight. This is truly an amazing program. It's awesome because I believed in this program when I didn't believe in myself. I believe in you. One day, you will get yours back. I'm happy again, and you will understand your happiness. When I see a newcomer, I have to tell them that it works. We have to work the steps. So many people procrastinate on the steps, but for me, that's the focus. If you want to struggle, that's on you. But if you want to live in hope, I encourage you to keep going. My wife is here. My wife is also a member. She's a deaf recovering addict with 6 years clean. And I have a new baby boy. I have another chance at having a family if I continue to stay clean and not use. Ooh, my feelings right now. So anyway, I got a job that I get to travel with. I go to Nebraska, Kansas, wherever they need me, I'm free to travel. When COVID hit, now how many of you felt isolated during COVID? That's exactly how deaf people feel without access to an interpreter. That's how we feel. But, you know, during your struggles of COVID, I practiced encouragement. I found interpreters, Adrienne and Alora, and I started to meet other deaf in recovery, and I felt motivated and happy. And COVID, I am grateful for COVID. I am thankful for it. You know, I didn't go stir crazy. I was finally finding that understanding with like-minded people. I want to thank you all because you helped me help you. Especially those here in Utah, I want to thank you for that. It's been wonderful. All of the states. You know, here in World, I'm grateful that you all are helping deaf. You know, we have some hope. I have hope. You know, when I was going through it for years, I remember I saw something. Now, I found my dream. It's here with you all. Wow. Wow.
Okay.
You know, wow. This isn't something that I could have imagined. I have worked hard. I have worked very hard. And because I worked hard, didn't mean that it was easy. I had to roll up my sleeves and get vulnerable and do the work. I am never alone. We are never alone. Please understand, deaf, you're not alone. Keep coming back. So I only have a moment or two left to share, and I'd like to share something a little important to me. So I started taking up service in my home group called Never Alone Deaf Group. I am currently the treasurer for Never Alone Deaf Group Narcotics Anonymous. And if you meet deaf people in a meeting, give them a hug. Don't ignore them. You can communicate by texting back and forth. Addicts die from isolation. You know that. Take it upon yourself to contact others and ask, hey, how you doing? Because we have to have a safe place and to continue living this way of life. It doesn't matter what language, what culture, where you're from. This recovery never ends. Please never give up. So the theme, Power of Love. I was thinking about what would be a good sign for this. So you all know the common I love you signal, right? Right? You know that? And the applause. Okay? So half deaf and half hearing, our applause looks like this. Okay. So this is I love you. So the World Convention of Narcotics Anonymous, the power of love, looks like this.
Everybody's doing it.
With recovery, everything is possible. We have the same disease, the disease of addiction. We might have differences, but we have one commonality, and that's all it takes. So we've had some struggles with the lights going out and a few other things, but that's okay. I realized that had I not practiced my program, I wouldn't be here today. Thank you.